I've been trying to... I have no idea whether the sound is on or not. Let me see. Huh. So I've been trying to get more comfortable making videos and being in front of a camera for a whole bunch of reasons that I'll probably end up talking about. I don't really know. I don't think it's any one thing. It's just something that I think a large part of it is that I'm not comfortable with the way I look, the way I sound, all that sort of thing. So it's like, oh, if you took away the way I look, if you put a different face here and a different voice and all this other stuff, I'd be like perfectly comfortable and want to watch this. But anyway, but that's okay. This is just me. I'm trying, and I'm really not into like filtering and changing things to the point where, what's the point, right? And that goes for how I communicate. It goes for what I say, how I say it. I feel like I've spent almost 50 years sort of living in my head. That's not true. I would say until I was, I don't know, preteen, I'm thinking maybe 12, 13 probably, which is the same age as my youngest kid right now, who is in 7th grade. And he's the one that's most like me. So I think, I don't know, just seeing him navigate his way through middle school has been, I don't know, bringing up a lot for me. And I think about this a lot. And of course, there's trauma associated with a lot of things in my childhood that I'm still trying to work through. And I don't know, half the time I don't even know when it's going to hit me. This has been a crazy week for me. This has been a hard week. Maybe not crazy, just really hard for a number of reasons. And I'm hoping last week was pretty good. And the week before that, I was in Los Angeles and it was really good. And I have no idea what next week is going to be. So I'm hoping it's better than this week. We're almost in Friday here, so getting there. I was taking videos of myself in the car, I think last week. And I was like, what do I do with these? It's pretty much what I do. I either write things that are on my mind or something I'm like, yeah, this might be a good thing, like maybe something I want to share. But I don't even know with who necessarily, which is what's hard for me. Because right now I'm just talking to myself. It's like I don't have an quote unquote audience because I'm not sending this to a specific person. I'm not sharing that. I'm not writing an email directly to one person or whatever. These are just sort of almost like my thoughts for me because I'm a verbal processor or also a written processor. I don't know. Regardless, I'm not really good at planning and organizing and working through like problem solving in my head. So a lot of my learning happens once I've vomited out the words and can really sort of sit with them and process them. Often it's while I'm talking, I'm processing it, or while I'm writing. And so a lot comes out usually before I can even figure out like what the priority stuff is or what's actually, there's a little nugget of value somewhere in there either for me or even potentially for someone else. And yeah, and what usually happens is I make a video or I write something and everything, and it feels really good to get it out, which is good. That's so it's not useless for me to do that. But I feel like 95% of the time it just stays there. in drafts, or I just hit cancel, it goes away, or it's sitting in some sort of folder somewhere and no one else knows it exists, including me, because with ADHD, it's like, for me, out of sight, out of mind. And so once it kind of goes somewhere, I don't see it again. I forget about it. And that's that. And I have so many pieces of writing and, um, you know, videos and drafts and all sorts of things that are out there that felt really important maybe to me at the time, that because I don't know if there's anything in there that's important for me to return to, even if it's just to look for like a story that I told or a memory I had that I processed out loud. And maybe that's something that would be shareable, would be valuable to someone other than my folder or iPhoto of videos or whatever it is. I don't know, but I don't have the time. I don't think I have the time. I don't have the energy to go back. And so what I end up doing is starting all over again, because it's just too much for me to try to go back and organize and revisit. And this has been a pattern for like a really long time with my communication, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know whether I should just be like, yep, this is just for me, just concentrate on it being the helpful thing of like, it felt good in the moment. Right now I'm practicing talking out loud and I'm thinking it out. Like, what do I do with this? Like right now, real time. And so maybe that's all that needs, like, it needs to stop here. Audience of one, me, that's it. Right now, real time. I don't know. And here's the thing, like, I don't know, but like no one else is gonna know either. Like, people are gonna say things like, oh, you should do this or whatever, or don't bother, just make it for you or whatever. But since I only know what happens when I don't share something, why am I not spending my time doing the other thing, which is sharing it? Because that's the way I'll get results. Like, if this doesn't feel necessarily great to me, to just kind of like continue the way I am, which is putting things out there into the universe, but like keeping it all to myself, like I don't see what the harm is in trying the other, right? And seeing how that feels, because I won't know how it feels until I actually do it. I have no idea what would happen if I did that, which is crazy to me, that because in so many other ways, that's just, I know myself, like, and I know a lot of ways you're not going to figure it out, and you're not going to know until you get the proof or the data, or you're doing the thing. And not even just doing the thing. You need to do the thing, but then you have to do the thing lots and lots, repetitively, consistently, and over a certain period of time, if you're actually looking for real results. Because it's a sort of fake indication if you only do it a couple times and you're like, see, it didn't work or whatever. That's not truth. That's not like, yeah, okay, it didn't work for the first 3 days or 10 days or whatever, but most things aren't going to. The proof is in showing up, doing something consistently, and doing it for an extended period of time. And then at that point, you can step back, look back, and see where you were, where you ended up. And is that something you want to keep building on? Or is that something where you're like, nope, this doesn't feel good, or this basically doesn't move the needle for anything? If there's no benefit to it, don't keep doing it, obviously. But yeah, there's so many other things I can think of where it's fear-based. It's being afraid to get out of my head, get out of my way, because I guess it's the perfectionism and the anxiety of not having the certainty of like what will happen if I do this other thing. At least I know it's safe to do what I'm doing right now, meaning I can do this and nobody has to see this. And that feels comfortable to me and that feels safe. And also it feels like I'm not, I feel like it's something's missing. And I don't know what that is. Um, so yeah. And I don't know how to edit videos. So when I make videos, they're usually 12 minutes long. And they're rambling. And there's things in there that I'm like, I could extract like a minute of that. But I'm like, am I taking it out of context? Is it more about the evolution and the organic like flow of my process to get to this place that is potentially interesting in a way that maybe extracting a minute or two isn't? Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know. And I think about it, and then the reason I don't know is because I haven't tried it, right? I learn as I go, and I know this about myself. I have to actually, in order for me to learn and make progress, I just need to do the thing. I need to do it. And I need the freedom to ideate along the way and try new things out without fear of like messing up or anything bad happening, because that's the way I'll learn. And the more of that I do, and the quicker that I do that and get more comfortable with that, the faster I'll get results in anything any of my goals that I'm trying to reach. And even if that's just learning, like, and to me, learning is everything. It's not just learning what to do and how to do it. It's also learning what not to do. By trying something and it not working, you're learning not to do that thing again, right? Or maybe it's just that you're learning to not do that thing right now because for whatever reason it doesn't feel good right now, or for whatever reason it's not getting you the results you're looking for. There's all sorts of things, right? But that doesn't mean to throw the entire baby out with the bathwater, because maybe for now it's smart for you to pivot on, try something else during that. But don't think that you can't come back to that 6 months, a year, 5 years down the line, when you're in a different space, when your business is in a different space, when your life is in a different, whatever it is, right, that your goals are. And you're going to have more information, you're going to have more experience in all sorts of things, and then that will apply to the new situation, and you just don't know. Right? So much uncertainty. So yeah, so maybe since I don't know how to edit videos and I want to practice what I preach, I'm just gonna post this whole goddamn thing. It's 13 minutes long. I don't expect anybody to see it, and that's probably secretly what I want, right? I guess I want it to be like as if I was just keeping it inside, except the reality is I'm doing something differently, because I am actually putting it out into the world. And what I do with it once it's out there is kind of beyond my control, right? And so I'm sure that's the control issue thing is a large component of the fear and everything else. But I really feel like I'm standing in my own way with my new business and my desire to make my own professional life basically from scratch at my age, which is 48, as a mom to 3, and with only less than a year ago diagnosed with ADHD, which I've had my whole life. That's some of the trauma that that I referred to at the beginning of this, that I'm really trying to work through, and it's probably something I'm going to be talking a lot about. I have anxiety. I have all kinds of anxiety. I'm not going to go into the subtypes, but anticipatory and is up there. Social is up there. Yeah, I have persistent depressive disorder, and I also have OCD. So yeah. Anyway, I'm being treated for all of those, and I've been managing them for years and years. I take meds. I am in weekly therapy with a great therapist. So I'm on the right track. And I know that. And I'm doing the best that I can. And even though like sometimes like this week, I feel like I'm failing miserably as a parent, as a spouse, as an employee for my own business, even as a dog mom, you know? I mean, that should fall under the mom category, but wow. There aren't very many things I can think of that I've felt good about this week, that I have felt confident and motivated and hopeful about my role in this. And that makes me really sad. That's where the depressive part comes in. It makes me sad, and it makes me wish that, like, when I'm feeling like this, I don't know. I guess I wish I didn't feel like this, right? But the reality is I do feel like this, and I'm aware that I'm feeling about this. I have no problem talking about this, and this is just who I am right now, right? And it's something that I want to change. So it's a work in progress. But I do know that it's everything in my life will benefit from all the people I love, all the things I want to do. Um, all of that is going to naturally benefit from me learning how to navigate my feelings of low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-image, all of that stuff, physically and mentally, whatever, um, personality, whatever, everything that I'm down on myself about. um, I don't think I should be. I tell other people that they shouldn't be, and I can see the beauty and all the wonderful things when I look at other people. And then for some reason, I can't turn that on myself very easily. Sometimes I can, and when I can, it's amazing. It's like I'm unstoppable. But then sometimes I have these days or weeks where it's like the complete opposite, and they seem to come out of nowhere, and once they're here, all I can do is just move through it and try to give myself as much grace as I can, that it's a temporary, and reminding myself that this is temporary, that this is not who I am, this is not always how I am, or even for long periods of time. A week even seems kind of long for me, which is why I'm kind of like, what's going on? Is this something hormonal? Probably. I don't know. Being perimenopausal, everything's kind of fucked up. And I had an endometrial ablation like back in 2017. So I haven't had my actual period in like 7 years. But the thing is that you stop getting your period. I was anemic and everything, and not way past, but I was past my child wanting years. And so it made sense for me to try this because I was always a heavy bleeder. And I'm so glad I had it done, because I literally haven't bled one time since 2017. However, everything else is the same. Like, you're still in a cycle, you still have a menstrual cycle, and you still ovulate, and you just don't bleed. And so all the hormones, everything else is exactly the same, which means that it gets really confusing, because one of the only ways that I've ever remembered, like, oh yeah, that's probably what's going on. Like, the bleeding thing's a big thing where you can confirm, you're like, okay, day 1 of my period, and then work everything else around that. And I had pretty steady, like every 28 days. But of course, during perimenopause, that all goes out the window. So yeah, so I've lost track. I assume this week is the week that's either premenstrual or premenstrual leading into menstrual or whatever, for all sorts of reasons where I'm like, this did just sort of seem to come out of nowhere. And so I am doing my best to try to track it. But again, I forget to do it, and sometimes I get so bogged down in like the feeling bad part that I'm not motivated to keep like writing down my symptoms and keeping tracking and stuff like that, which obviously defeats the purpose. So I got to work this out, because this is ridiculous. All right, so about those tangents I was talking about, I'm almost at 20 minutes now, so I got to do something about this. But anyway, good talk. Any thoughts? Please share. All right, hope everyone's doing well. And by everyone, I mean really just me, because I don't think anyone else is watching. But if anybody else sees this, I do really hope that you're doing okay. And if you're not, well, I'm not doing okay either, really. But we will be doing better. We will. Okay, take it easy.